Hello, my name is Charlie Christopher Abner, originally from a place called Port Royal, South Carolina. Um, this is in reference to the shrimping industry, an industry that I grew up around and in as well. I started off as a young boy, and I cultivated a deep desire for the industry. I look at the progress that the industry was making at that time and the progress that it's making today and the different issues that is happening in the industry. And I made up my mind a long time ago that this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. It's to be a commercial fisherman, providing nice, fresh, wild caught food for the American public and American consumers. I used to own three different boats. The first boat I bought was a interesting looking boat. It was built by Landry Corporation out of Bylabastra, Alabama. The name of that boat was the Abner's Choice. That boat was sunk down in Jacksonville, Florida. The industry have never been fair. Well, the shrimping industry anyway have never been fair toward minority fishermen, blacks, indigenous people, Vietnamese. The industry have always discriminated against those individuals from being in this particular industry. And I'm speaking from experience, what I personally experienced in South Carolina, well, down in Beaufort, South Carolina, in Brunswick, Georgia, Crescent, Georgia, and also Fernandina Beach, Florida, and also Mayport, Florida. I look at it as any road to success is always going to be under construction. And so you fix the problem if you can, and if not, you just go with the program and become a better at what you're doing, because you just want to be successful out in the industry. That's my goal. I want to, well, not that I want to, but I am going to be in a better position so that I can train the next generation of commercial fishermen. And I'm training them in a way to where they could work for themselves, work as an independent commercial fisherman, so that they do not have to worry about the different things that, or the discriminatory practice that I have experienced. And if we want to train them, and our goal, Captain Charlie's Fish Company, our goal is within the next 10 to 15 years is to train 80 to 100 commercial fishermen from socially disadvantaged neighborhoods and also the veterans. That's what we call the next generation of commercial fishermen. That's very important, because it's very important for the community. They will become a good, productive members of society, and that's the way we're going to train them. The fishing industry, being a commercial fisherman, it's a very lucrative way of making a living. However, there's a lot of pitfalls and obstacles have always been in the way of a lot of Black commercial fishermen, because at one time, the majority of your commercial fishermen, there was Black. And as time progressed, when the older dock owners passed on or died out, they made it very hard. The younger generation made it very hard for Black commercial fishermen. Very, very hard. And And I can easily say from personal experience, it's outright discrimination. Another obstacle that I faced was in Port Royal, South Carolina, twice. The last time I had a boat down there in Port Royal, South Carolina, the boat name was Having Faith. And one of the guys at the dock, and there's an eyewitness to this, one of the guys from that dock and at the dock, somehow or another, all of the fuel, over 4,000 gallons of fuel, was missing off of my boat. And then they put water in the fuel tank, ruined my engine, ruined my generator. And then they stole all of the equipment off of the boat. And eventually, I couldn't move the boat. I couldn't take it anywhere. And 2 months ago, just approximately 2 months ago, that boat ended up sinking off of north end of Hilton Head, South Carolina. It was being towed down to Atlanta, Georgia, and the boat ended up sinking. Mishap, accident. But that's not my goal. My goal is to now, at my age, is to train the next generation of commercial fishermen. And hopefully that we could see the atmosphere and the attitude. Hopefully all of that would change toward people since we all have to get along together. We gotta live, and everybody have to live. At the end of the day, you still have to live. You still have to make a living for your family. And nothing in that ocean except for what a person take out there with them belongs to them. Everything else belongs to everybody. Everything in that ocean belongs to everybody, not just one particular individual or one particular company. And so I keep that mindset. And we have full intentions of training this young individual from socially disadvantaged area so that they will have a positive mindset, know how to get along with everybody out there, and follow certain lawful legal procedure in trying to make a living. I've also attended the class, Marine Safety Conductor Training up in Morehead City, North Carolina. I got certified in that the first of 2020 and 22. I've been around the fishing industry for close to 50 years. Started off as a young boy, still in high school, junior high school. As I mentioned earlier, I used to have 3 different boats. But in actuality, I made more money working for this. It was a very effective fisherman. His name is Mr. Charlie Wilson out of Port Royal, South Carolina. I worked with him and I made very good money. The guy who took me by my hand and taught me the fishing industry, his name is Morris Myers, and he's from St. Mary's, Georgia. And all up and down the East Coast, they were very effective, compassionate Black commercial fishermen. And then today, you don't find that. You're not going to hardly find it, mainly because of the discriminatory practice of many of the dock owners. Now, they may get pissed off or angry with me, but I'm telling the truth. The majority of the shrimpers, there was Black around. Quite a few of them have since moved into the oyster business and the crabbing business. Now, a specific incident I want to mention that happened in Bald River. That's up in Beaufort County, South Carolina. There was this young man he was Vietnamese. He came to Port Royal, South Carolina to crab. And some of the guys, some white crabbers, they destroyed 100 of his crab traps. And then they turned around and he put out 250 and they destroyed that 250 and it was right out there in Bald River. But then again, as I mentioned earlier, we have to have our own facilities, mainly because we're black fishermen are not welcome. If you're an owner, a black owner or a black captain, you're really not welcome to these shrimp docks. There's a few of them in Georgia. There's a few of them in Florida, and definitely there's a few of them in North Carolina and South Carolina. I can name specific individuals who own those docks, but I won't do that. And I know right there in Chatham County, Georgia, there's this one particular guy said he would prefer to burn his place down. He would prefer to burn his building down before he invite blacks at his dock. That's crazy. We want to keep this in mind that commercial fishermen, they feed communities. Not only do they feed communities, but they reinvest in communities as well. They pay they're heavily taxed in communities in the county in which they live. So because of the fact that everybody benefit from commercial fishermen, we want to keep that in mind. And we also need to have the frame of mind that together we stand, divided we fall. Always remember that. Together we stand, divided we fall. And the more you have infighting in racism and discrimination, you lose the battle. You lose the battle all the time. So what we want to keep in mind, everybody has to make a living. The county has to have its taxes. The town has to have its taxes. The city has to have its taxes. Everybody pay it and keep warm and well fed from commercial fishermen.